Who's ready to lose some money on prize picks? I know I am. We got 13-game slate tomorrow, so a lot of action. We talk about a couple player props I do like in this video. If you guys are a first-time viewer, welcome. My name is DK. I do make content for prize picks as well as NFL DFS and NBA DFS. If you guys are playing the NBA DFS slate tomorrow, you can check out my video. Also have a video up for the Thursday night football showdown slate, that being the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons. Not a great game, but hey, they still have decent-sized contests, so there is money to be made, I guess. That's the one thing you can say. So, yeah, guys, we'll talk about two player props I do like in this video. Hopefully we don't reverse sweep. That would be nice. But, yeah, so let's first start off with pick number one, and that would be Jalen Brunson over 33.5 fantasy points. Now, I've gotten burned by him a couple times taking his over on fantasy points. I think the two times I took him over, both times he got in foul trouble. So I think that is really the only risk you run into with Brunson is potential foul trouble. But in games that have stayed competitive, he's been averaging, 34 to 36 minutes, usually somewhere in that range. He's a guy that can stuff the stat sheet, so he provides that floor, right, of not going to kill you, again, unless he gets in a massive foul trouble. And if he has a decent shooting game, he can pretty easily go over this number. If you look at just the DraftKings numbers, right, he's gone for 40-plus fantasy points now in the last 3 games. And this, you got to factor in the matchup as well. Brooklyn Nets, not great defensively. It is at the Nets, so this game, no real blowout risk either. So with all those things being said, I think this number should be, 36, 37. So I do think it's a bit low. So we're going to take the over here on Jalen Brunson. And let's hope he doesn't get into foul trouble. Because again, the 2 times I took his over, he got in foul trouble both times. So we're going to take the over there on Jalen Brunson at 33.5 fantasy points. The second one we're going to pair here is Fred VanVleet over 42.5 fantasy points. Now, he gets one of the best matchups against Houston. You just saw what happened with Houston and Orlando. That game there's 0 defense played. I forget, what was the final score in that game? Hold on. I can just bring up someone on Houston and check. But there was no defense played in that game. It was 134 to 127. Again, the Rockets, one of the worst teams defensively. You factor in that we got no Pascal Siakam for Toronto. VanVleet gets the biggest bump. So if you take a look at numbers going back into last year, with Pascal Siakam off the court, you see Fred VanVleet in 955 minutes, averaging about a 27% usage rate. If you take a look at fantasy points, you can see that Fred VanVleet averages 1.17 on DraftKings, 1.14 on FanDuel. So if you give him, his normal 38 to 40 minutes a game, plus factor in, again, that the matchup does give him a little boost as well. I do like the over here on VanVleet. Another positive, too, with taking the over on VanVleet fantasy points is he's a guy that gets you a lot of blocks and steals. If you take a look, just here, let's see. Looking at his recent games, we can't expect this every time, but 2 blocks, 2 steals, 1 steal, 2 steals, 3 blocks. So he's a guy that can get you those blocks and steals, which is very valuable for fantasy points because it's +3 on Prizepicks. He had 4 steals and 1 block. So, he's averaging like a block and a steal a game. That's like 6 points right there. So I think the only thing you have to worry about with this is potential blowout. But this Toronto team not been playing great without Siakam. So, they just lost to Chicago pretty easily. So I do think that Houston can keep this game competitive. And if they do, you're going to get big minutes from VanVleet in a great matchup. We're going to take the over on his fantasy points as well. So those are going to be the 2 picks for tomorrow, guys. Brunson, VanVleet. Let's hope we don't get reverse swept. Let's hope neither of these guys get in foul trouble. And let's hope to get a W. So if you guys do enjoy the Prizepicks content, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Again, if you're playing DFS, you can check out that content as well. Already have those videos up. But thanks again, guys, and I'll see you all in the next video.